Live.
Going.
You're live.
You're live. Hey.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, so we're just going to check that the stream is working properly. I hope it is. Because otherwise that could be bad.
Yep.
It seems to be working fine.
Fantastic. Turn it off.
Yeah, I've turned it off. Hi, and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben.
And I'm Kay.
And today we're doing a live stream and we're answering a cornucopia of questions, if you have any, because we're going to spend a couple of minutes just waiting for people to arrive. Apparently there are a few coming. I hope we're not going to end up talking to ourselves.
Well, we do that all the time anyway.
Yeah,
so
I suppose we do.
Let's just do that.
Yeah. And we've got some really interesting content to talk about because we're living in a very interesting world. So if you're watching from your bunker somewhere across the world, trying to avoid viruses that must not be named, the first thing on our agenda today is we're going to be talking about how the virus has affected social media, how it's affected films and TV, entertainment in general. And so, yeah. But first, I want to say thank you so much to everyone who supported the Ruby Tuesday. It's been a hard slog sometimes, but it's been worth it because I've seen the channel grow. We're cultivating a family. We started off with an interesting family. I would say that some of the comments have been hard for me to get past at times. But now I think we've got a decent family of people that come and chat and, is not afraid to express their opinions on films. Even if we disagree, we're still, we're having a good time.
Yeah.
It's 7,000 subscribers. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. So if you have anything to ask and you want to get stuck in there, but we're watching the live chat so far, I've got my question there. So hopefully one of the 7,000 subscribers will jump on board and join us.
Hopefully.
Okay, so while we're doing this today, Kirsten is going to do the makeup.
I'm just going to have a little bit of fun.
She's going to mess with me as
mess with him
as we talk. Okay. So first up, we're talking about the films that have been pushed back because of...
Is this distracting?
No, because of the beer virus.
The beer virus? Don't call it that. Poor beer. What's it ever done to you?
Nothing. And so we have a number of films, one of the first ones that took me by surprise was the Fast and Furious that has been pushed back. But not only has it been pushed back till not being in this in 2020, but it's been pushed back till 21, and it's a whole year, probably the same date, I'd imagine, next year. And so this franchise it's doing well. It makes the millions, it makes the billions. Vin Diesel is doing all right. Geek up or shut up. Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Kirsten is messing with makeup, so
we're both fine. We have no virus. We're all
okay.
good.
I do hope everybody's healthy and well.
Stay well where you are.
Okay, so Fast and Furious has been pushed back. Bond has been pushed back until November. So people are very sad, I guess, the Bond fans. This is the last Daniel Craig Bond we were going to get. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait. I love the new theme for the Bond film. It's been interesting because there's been a bunch of films that are about to come out now. For example, Mulan, the live Disney adaptation. Obviously, you've seen the original Disney animation, but the Mulan was about the Mulan. The Mulan was about to come out, and a couple of nights ago we had the UK premiere, but no one was allowed to attend apart from the crew and the actors. They cornered off everything, so it must have been one of the quietest premieres ever. Just people watching the film, if you're a part of it, if you're a crew, and that's it. And now it's been pushed back. And along with that, I'm really sad about A Quiet Place 2, which we don't even have a release date for that anymore. John Krasinski left a nice little message on Twitter saying, sorry guys, we know that you are really looking forward to the second film's a love letter to you guys because of how well the first film was received. It made so much money back on a small budget, and what it made back, I think, was like over 700 million in the end. And so everybody I know has been really looking forward to seeing what John Krasinski was going to do with A Quiet Place 2. And from what I've seen from the trailers, it looks as scary and heart-racing as the first one. It's one of my favorite films, actually, probably in my top 10. I've seen it a number of times. So to have that pushed back, it's a bit sad, but yeah, the industry itself is really feeling, the entertainment industry is really feeling the knockback. There are the New Mutants, this poor film has been delayed numerous amounts of times. It's been re-edited to look a certain way. It was going to be the first X-Men horror, and now it's been pushed back because of the virus. I wonder if it's ever going to go out. The poor actors that are involved, the people creation, that just seems doomed. We also got the horror that I know people were looking forward to. Antlers. The Secret Garden has moved to August, the new Secret Garden film with Colin Firth. Even shows like Ellen is now being filmed without a live studio audience. So they've removed the people, and then she's just talking to the camera, and there's nobody there. So must have a different atmosphere for her. TV series as well of halted production, The Good Fight. We love that because it's a spin-off from The Good Wife, which I thought was incredible. But The Good Fight is probably as good. NCIS, Broadway, it's crazy. There's an amount of Broadway has just stopped completely.
Sorry.
It's okay. A Quiet Place is also one of my favorite movies. I was very excited for the second one. New Mutants, I've been waiting for a year. Sadly, it got pushed back yet again. I know, it's just crazy. The amount of stuff that we're seeing being pushed back at the moment is mental.
Yeah.
One thing that has not been pushed back, which is hilarious, is the Razzies. So the Razzies are tomorrow night. If you're in the UK, you can watch it at 4:00 in the morning. But everywhere else in the world, I guess you'll have your different time zones. But the Razzies is that, or it's the Oscars for the worst films in the world. And apparently Cats is going to clean up, which is not surprising. But it's amazing that it doesn't have a huge audience, but as far as I'm aware, it still does have an amount of people that come in. Some collect the awards. Catwoman, that was one when the actress herself went and collected the award. And that same year, she won an Oscar and she won a Razzie, which is crazy. I look forward to the Razzies because I think the Razzies are quite fun to watch. It's a different tact, it's a different feel. And if you don't take it too seriously as the actor who's been nominated or the film that's been nominated for it, then you can enjoy it and just be with them saying, oh, okay, I've made one of the worst films of the year. That's okay. I can only go up from here, hopefully. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. And there's some high-profile people that have in media entertainment. Tom Hanks and his wife, they've been infected with the virus that must not be named. I hope they get better. So it's everywhere. It's hard not to see that it's not everywhere. You're very distracting, babe.
I'm so sorry. You asked for it.
Our own health minister as well, which I thought is funny. I hope she's okay. But it's just, you got to wonder, she must be involved with people that have the virus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's her job to go walk around and meet and greet people who are ill and make sure they're being looked after.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder she got ill.
Netflix's productions are being put on hold. Warner Brothers television studios and pilots. Disney has 16 films from their studio pilots even that are being put on hold. It's really going to affect us. We might not see the effect right now, but as we catch up with stuff that we've watched or stuff that's already been made, when we find that gap, it's going to be an interesting time in media.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll have time to binge all those things that you hadn't gotten around to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good time.
And rewatch things that you loved.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the best films that might still be coming out this year and TV series. So currently, what I'm really looking forward to is Bill and Ted Face the Music, Top Gun 2, Tenet by Christopher Nolan, and Dune. Those are my four the films that I need to see at the cinema. Bill and Ted, I grew up with watching Keanu, and people used to make such fun of him, saying that he's a terrible actor. Because he acted the way he does, which is what his character is meant to do. And now he's such a high-profile actor that he gets called into places like E3 to do a voice on a game for Cyberpunk, but then also to be, kind of showcase the film. And we get moments with Keanu where he's going, "No, you're beautiful." Unfortunately, we're not going to get E3 this year because that's also been cancelled. So no more Keanu moments like that this year. And talking about sequels, well, Bill and Ted is the third film. I'm hoping that they're not too old for this, to quote a Lethal Weapon moments, because they do look old in the posters compared to their characters because they have aged. I'm sure that's in the story, though. They've incorporated that. Keanu doesn't normally sign his name to projects that he doesn't know are going to work. And then we've got Top Gun 2. There's another film that I'm looking forward to, but I don't know if it can work, because I don't know if you've gone back and watched Top Gun recently, it's really cheesy. Like, we knew it was cheesy back then, but some of the stuff now hasn't aged that well. Some of the scripting, you kind of go, "Ooh,
you can't say that."
Yeah.
How dare you?
There's stuff that would not be okay. So they're going to have to adapt it for the times. But how do you keep the same flavor? How do you keep it the same, but also different? I do know that Tom Cruise is one hell of a hard worker. In the industry, he's one of the hardest working people. You hear his work ethic, regardless of what you think of him as a person, normally he signs his name to stuff that is quality. At least I think so. And then we have Tenet, which I'm really looking forward to. Christopher Nolan really likes to mess with time. He has a lot of films where, Inception, you get inside the person's brain again and again and again, and the time slows down, or the amount of time that you spend is relevant. You have Interstellar.
Relative?
Yeah. Relative. Time is relative.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have Interstellar, which was, again, when they're in space, the black hole, time. And so now Tenet is very interesting because we've seen a trailer, but we don't know how much or what's actually going on with that. Hi, Claire. With the virus halting movies attending for now, will Netflix profit at this end of cinema? Oh, that's a good question, Claire. Yeah, it could well be. Netflix has made people like Disney worried. Amazon has gotten into the original content. Even YouTube have tried their hand at original content. And now with this break, we had a change in industry a few years ago when we had the writer's strike, and we saw some very interesting different web series come along and gather a huge amount of audience. For example, Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, that came in the time when there's the writer's strike, and that has a massive following now. So whether, I don't know that it'll be the end of cinema. There'll always be a place for cinema. But the more and more I go to the cinema, the less I feel the need for it. You can have cinema at home. I mean, if you're anything like me, we have a projector screen. We have a 4K projector. We have a great surround sound system. All we need to do is buy a license for that film we want to see early, and then show it with a few friends. And that would be cinema at home. And I think a lot of people nowadays have big screens, decent sound systems, and tend not to. We're already self-isolating as a society. We're on our mobile phones.
Some of us.
We're at home watching, TV at night. Do you want to go to the cinema tonight? Yeah. What's on? Not much. Okay. Let's watch. Whatever. Friends.
I mean, the other thing is that it doesn't take as long anymore. You used to have to have quite a gap from like it was shown at the cinema, and then you had to wait until you could rent it from a video store.
Yeah. Which
was a long gap. So if you missed it at the cinema, you were waiting a really long time. But now it's a couple of months and it's on a streaming service somewhere.
It used to be that on a satellite streaming service, it was 2 years from cinema. And that's a long time to wait. And which is when piracy went up so much, because they used to get hold of these decent copies, or and now I think they're doing better at putting a stop to that, although there is still a lot of that around. It's not nearly as bad because there is that shorter time gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting time. Other films I'm looking forward to is Dune. I'm a big fan of the book. I'm a big fan of the miniseries, and there was a remake which is okay. But Denis Villeneuve.
Oh my goodness, just stop. That person.
The Blade Runner director, Blade Runner 2049. He has a visual way of telling. Wow, I'm going to just give up speaking.
Telling stories.
Telling
Visually.
stories. He's a visual storytelling. Wow. Can you speak?
He's a visual storyteller.
Thanks.
He tells stories with pictures.
Yes, he does. Like Christopher Nolan, but I love his color palette of what he uses in films. It's always very vibrant. Reminds me of, the first time you watch Avatar at the cinema. You're like, oh, you might not like the story, but visually, it's amazing. And so that's why I'm looking forward to Dune, because if Denis, I'm not even going to say his name, has the ability to tell a story through pictures better than most I've seen. And it's going to be epic. So I loved Arrival, and that was mostly just pictures, not a lot of dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And the use of sound as well. Incredible mix of sound.
Yeah, the sound for Arrival was brilliant.
Lots of deep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tones that unsettle you.
Exactly. Okay.
You're starting to look quite plague infected.
Infected, yeah. I'm looking forward to Wonder Woman, 1984, Black Widow, and The Eternals. Those are the 3 superhero films I'm looking forward to. Black Widow, I believe, is probably going to be pushed back, if it hasn't already. There's this talk about Disney Plus in the UK, which is only coming at the end of March. So I said to a few friends of mine, I don't see the reason or the need for Disney Plus. Isn't it films and stuff you've seen? But if you go and look at the amount of original content coming this year and then follow-up years and the amount of back catalog, you'll be surprised and go, yeah, okay, that's definitely worth it. But there's been some talk as to whether, because of the virus, how many films will be pushed back if it keeps on going. They may take a few of their Disney big, large platforms and put them on the service, in which case I think the service will skyrocket and might be a contender against Netflix. Because if they're doing some of their AAA titles and putting it on a streaming service, wow, that's a game changer. Because Netflix do it with some. So if they take Black Widow and put it on their Disney instead of going to the cinema.
In the cinema. Oh, you see, now there's something.
They could get people on board
Yeah.
straight away,
Yeah.
which might be a game changer. They still want seats and butts. I know that.
Seats and butts?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I meant to say, seats and butts. But it'll be...
I would love to see that.
Seats and butts. Hey guys, you heard it here first. We've got some seats and butts for you.
Sorry, I distracted you.
You did distract me.
No, you don't know what you were supposed to be saying.
Well, there's another film
Butts
I'm
and
looking forward
seats.
to. I know my brother is excited for this one, Morbius. I'm excited and kind of worried because of the lead. Because he wasn't great as Joker in the recent Joker film. Not the Joker film, but the one before that.
What's his name? He's a method.
Yes, it's Method. He sends people dead mouses.
Dead mouses?
Yeah.
Mice?
Singular mice. Hi guys, impressed by your ability to keep talking with Kay inflicts you with face of nasties. I'm impressed, but if you've heard my talking, it's not so good. Okay, so we're going to celebrate. Well, we've got a few people here. 7,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. 3, 2, 1, go. Yay!
That was, wow.
Smell the gunpowder. Oh, wow. So yeah, Morbius I'm worried about. But there's another one I'm worried about that could be good, and that's Ghostbusters Afterlife. It's written by the original team. It's not going to be like the last Ghostbusters film, which I didn't enjoy at all. I don't think I would ever want to watch that film again. But Ghostbusters Afterlife has the original writers, and if you've seen the trailer, has the feel of the original
really
kind
does.
of 80s vibe.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. But now we move on to streaming content of stuff that you should look out for. If you liked Altered Carbon Season 1, thank you for the congratulations.
Thank you.
If you liked Altered Carbon Season 1, then you'll know, if you've been watching our channel, we've been really excited to see Season 2. We saw that, and it's safe to say we were disappointed with Season 2 because it just felt very different.
Yeah.
It's still good, but when you have such a great season, such a good story, so well done, it's hard to live up to that hype. But Netflix are doing Altered Carbon re-sleeved anime film. And this is shouting out to be an anime film.
Yeah, absolutely.
An anime set in the universe of the series from Cowboy and Bebop writer Deo Sato. So it's coming out March 19th. Cowboy and Bebop is known still today to be one of the best anime of all time. It's up there with Akira and Ghost in the Shell. So if you know anything about anime, then you'll be like, wow, okay, those are good. And the writer from Cowboy Bebop, be like, okay, sign me up. And so if you like anime, if you like Altered Carbon, I'm so excited for this one. It's out really soon, March 19th. So check that out. Put that on your list. So now we go into the dark content. Ozark Season 3 is out on March 27th. If you know anything about Ozark, it's one series that I left because it looked really dark and dull, to be honest. And then I made the mistake of watching the first episode. And a few days later, I'd seen both seasons. I reviewed them, and now I'm eagerly awaiting Season 3. Oh, hi, Jude. What's your favorite Switch game? Okay, Jude. My favorite Switch game is a Pokemon game that I've just finished. It's the first Pokemon game I bought in years. And it's the first game, actually, that has made me play my Switch. I bought my Switch and I haven't touched it. And then I bought Pokemon Sword and Shield. I bought the Sword version, and I just finished it. And now I'm wondering what to do with myself. So I'm watching more content. So that's my favorite Pokemon game and Switch game, Jude. Hi, Jude.
Hi.
Another series I'm looking forward to is Afterlife Season 2. So Kirsten is one that is not a huge fan of Ricky Gervais because she finds, I'm talking for you, she finds his humor sometimes tough. Like, she just doesn't get him. It's not funny.
Sometimes he's a bit offensive.
I mean, that is his trademark.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
I'm sure he's proud of it. Like, he is proud of it.
But I made you watch Afterlife Season 1. So tell me what you thought about that.
Afterlife Season 1, although it's tough watching because it's actually dark, but it's funny. I was not, what's the word? I wasn't offended by him. Like, I was genuinely moved by him. So I think that's actually, it was really good.
I had some man tears.
Yeah.
It was genuinely sad and quite surprising, and written and scripted by him. And he's won a number of awards for this. He's gone really deep and dark, but altered it with his humor.
Yeah.
And it works because his character has gone to a point in life where he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
He says out everything that you're thinking. Which obviously would be offensive, but you understand why he does that. So I'm very much looking forward to Season 2, and that's out soon. Another Netflix film that's coming out called Extraction. That is Chris Hemsworth, and it's going to be an action spy. Well, let me read when the son of a high-profile crime boss becomes a kidnapped pawn in a drug war, and an underground mercenary played by Chris Hemsworth is hired to bring him home safely in this high-octane thriller.
Octane. That's like whenever you just know there's going to be lots of explosions.
Michael Bay explosions,
fight scenes, and
good-looking fight sequences. This is going to be one of those popcorn films you don't need to think about too much. Yep, it's going to be easy. Easy watching, but look out for that. Not a lot is known, but I think it's going to do well.
It sounds a little bit like it's going to be what was that one?
Spencer.
Any of the many films where somebody gets kidnapped and somebody has to go and rescue them. some highly trained operative, like Taken, that kind of thing.
Taken 4. It's
any one of those.
It's still
films,
his dog,
but with Chris Hemsworth. So.
Here's one you should look out for: Eurovision the movie. Laugh with me now.
What?
Eurovision the movie. It's Will Ferrell co-wrote and stars in the comedy opposite Rachel McAdams as a pair of aspiring singers presented with the opportunity to appear in Eurovision, the massive European singer competition show. So here in the UK, people have parties when it's Eurovision.
It's Eurovision night.
It's Eurovision night. We're going to get a whole bunch of rosé. And we're going to drink too many glasses of rosé, but that seems to be the drink of choice. Okay. And then you enjoy because it's weird and wacky.
And a bit out there.
I'll be honest, I've never been one for Eurovision because I don't understand it. None of the music to me seems good. I'm wondering what they're celebrating and like, do people, this is the best you have? Always confuses me.
I think also there's a bit of a love-hate from British audiences because I don't think we've ever won it. I don't know. Certainly not in all the years that we've lived here. I don't think we've ever won it.
Yeah.
And so there's this sort of political rivalry that's going on. And because we know that we're not going to win, we just get there to sit there and like poke fun at everyone else.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. So
Eurovision.
I think that's going to be a pretty. Now, one of the biggest series for Netflix this year is going to be The Haunting of Bly Manor. This is the sequel to The Haunting of Hill House, although it's not the same characters. And it's directed by Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan, if you don't know, it seems to be just doing Stephen King content at the moment, although this is not Stephen King, but he's done Gerald's Game, which Stephen King gave him the right to do. Eventually, he carried the short book in his bag for 16 years before he was allowed to make the film. And if you've seen Gerald's Game, it's fantastic. It took them a ridiculous short amount of time to film. They had a small budget, and what he came out with was fantastic. So then he got permission to direct Dr. Sleep, the sequel to The Shining.
Which was very good.
Which was surprisingly very good and not as scary in moments, but the story, Ewan McGregor, it's so well directed. It has amazing atmosphere and tone. So if you like that type of stuff, this one's going to be a bit more scary. It does have a few jump scares that you're not expecting.
You're jiggling the table.
I'm jiggling the Jigglypuff.
Yeah. Jigglypuff.
But yeah. That is going to be a massive title. If you've heard of The Haunting of Hill House, that was very well received. People loved it. They praised his direction for it. The way he directed people was very well received. And so we have a new series and people are very excited for this. Here's one that you probably haven't heard of. Eurovision the movie. Yeah. Here's one you probably haven't heard of, and that is Mank. It's more David Fincher. It's the director's latest focus on the story of how the legendary classic Citizen Kane was written, featuring Gary Oldman and Amanda Seyfried. So if you know anything about Citizen Kane, you'll know that it's up there, probably in the top 10 greatest films of all time. People watch it, they study it, they learn about it. Citizen Kane is that. So this is all about that, and it's David Fincher's understanding of that. It's going to be very different. It could be very weird. But it's another Netflix original, so I'm presuming it will get a cinema release because they've been doing that a lot lately. But also, you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see it while you're self-isolating.
Yeah.
Yeah. And going back to talking about Mike Flanagan, he's got another series coming out called Midnight Mass. So this guy has got like amazing deal with Netflix.
Yeah.
He's just like, give me the money, I'll make you good stuff.
I'll make something for you.
There's one that I know a lot of people haven't heard of, and that's called The Old Guard. Also a Netflix film. It's the adaptation of a fantasy comic book of the same name that stars Charlize Theron and I don't even know how to pronounce the name. It's about the leader of an immortal army struggling to survive in the 21st century when their special powers are exposed. So fantasy does well now. There's a lot of it, but whether it's any good, there's a lot of misses. I would say that there are more misses than there are really good content.
Yeah.
But with Charlize Theron's name attached to the project, I imagine it's good. Here's a little story for you. When Charlize Theron was really young, she used to play in a park in South Africa called the Bunny Park. And her age, at the same age, I was also playing in the Bunny Park occasionally. And I like to think that, we played in the Bunny Park together. And we just didn't know each other then.
Wow. Do you know what? I also played in the Bunny Park. And I fell in a sewage trough.
You did, didn't you?
I did. I think I was probably about 3 or 4. And I went straight head first into a sewage pit.
Guys. Okay. Moving on.
Traumatic.
There's a series called Space Force coming out, which I personally think is a big joke at Donald Trump, because he has said that he wants and he's going to create Space Force to stop the aliens from coming. This is actually what the President of the United States, I'm not making fun of him, this is what he said in that he's busy creating. He's putting a budget together to have a Space Force. And so Netflix are doing a series called Space Force, created by Greg Daniels, from the guy who created The Office and Parks and Recreation.
Oh wow!
It stars
the flavor it's going to have.
It stars Steve Carell. Comes a new workplace comedy about a group of government officials tasked with creating a sixth branch of the military for outer space, the Space Force. This is brilliant.
It's going to be funny.
This is the world we live in.
Is it though?
This is the
I feel
world we
like
live in.
this is like we're on some show that's all really not real.
Amazing. Yeah. There's lots. I'm just going to run through quickly of stuff that's coming out that you should look out for. The Boys season 2, American Gods season 3, although that's got a lot of sex, very pornographic in places and weird. Carnival season 2, loved Carnival. Hannah season 2, I'm not sure about, but I'm hoping that the story gets more interesting, because I personally thought the film was better than the series. The Walking Dead has a new. There's a new Walking Dead series coming out. So we've got The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, and now we've got The Walking Dead World Beyond. It's a new series which follows the first group of young people to have grown up in a world overrun by zombies.
Wow, now that's actually interesting. That is interesting. I'm concerned for The Walking Dead, because I don't know at what series we were on.
So many.
What season we were on. But we gave up in the end, because it just felt like the odds against them were just so overwhelming constantly. And at no point were you afraid of the zombies anymore.
No.
Like the zombies were just incidental, and it was the people. And it was just heartbreaking to watch, like time after time after time, them just getting...
Yeah, I personally feel at the moment Fear the Walking Dead was better than The Walking Dead. So I wonder if that will continue the trend and this new series will be better.
Yeah, but are they ever going to end it?
I hope so. I think probably this, for the original The Walking Dead season 10 maybe is going to be the last one.
I don't know. It feels like they find something that does really well and that has a big following and is making lots of money, and then they push it until the ratings start to drop off, and then they're like, oh dear, we better end this now. And then they sort of flirt.
Rather finish it when it's strong in a really good state. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Friends had 10 seasons.
But they finished it. They could have carried on.
But they decided, you know what, let's wrap this up. We've had a good run. It's still hugely, hugely popular. Let's finish on a high note.
Yeah, exactly. Then we have, I mentioned earlier about the Disney service coming. So they have The Mandalorian season 2. I say season 2 because even though no one in the UK has Disney Plus service yet, everyone I speak to has seen The Mandalorian season 1. So that wasn't a smart move at making their Disney Plus take that long to come. Anyway, The Mandalorian, which is a actually good story, Star Wars, which is amazing.
On or off, can't.
One Division, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Star Wars Clone Wars season 7. They're finally going to finish that story. Ooh. Stargirl. Those are all interesting things coming out soon. And our personal favorite, Killing Eve season 3.
Yeah.
If you want to see a psycho serial killer and see how she's in love with someone that's meant to take her down, yeah, watch that.
So good.
Some of the best.
It was so good.
Storytelling we've seen from the BBC ever.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, HBO's Westworld season 3 starts. If you're a fan of that, Umbrella Academy season 2 is going to be coming. Picard has been a mixed bag for me. If you like Star Trek, then you no doubt heard of Picard. And I like it because of nostalgia, I think. So all the characters I see in, whenever there's a character that are from a previous series of some kind, some Star Wars story, you kind of go, whoa, it's that person, without doing spoilers of who might pitch up. But it's very hit and miss. The first episode was fantastic and at a pace that was so exciting. And then it just never reaches that again.
No.
So I love watching Patrick Stewart, but I feel like it's him, like you were mentioning, it's like a stage play.
Yeah, it feels very
that's what
stage
it
play.
feels like. It's not found its feet yet.
No.
I do hope it does.
Yeah.
And that's about all our content that we have on my laptop here. So I'm going to close that. I was going to tell a story about Van Damme.
When I wasn't so sure that you should.
No, I'll tell it anyway.
Okay.
So once upon a time, I had the opportunity to work on a film. I've worked on a few features, 3, I think. 3. Yep. This one is called UFO. It's since been renamed something else. It had a very interesting budget, and there's a lot of stories that went on with this. It's set in England. UFOs, aliens attack, and there are 4 survivors. And we had Van Damme for 2 days, and that was mostly because his daughter was one of the main actors in it. So I'm guessing that was part of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
There's this thing where they say sometimes don't meet your heroes. I'm a massive fan of Jean-Claude Van Damme. Massive fan. I grew up watching his original great Bloodsport, Double Impact, all of those films, Time Cop. Man, I could watch them. They're so cheesy, but just what you're going to get when you're watching Van Damme do the splits and, go. That is Van Damme to a T.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do I say this without getting in trouble? It's safe to say that Van Damme still has the moves. He can do the fighting. It's like it's part of him. It's in his bones. Watching him do fight sequences inside with his daughter was fantastic. The issue comes when it came to scripting. It seems like he has a few issues when it comes to the script still, because we had to hold up, what do you call them?
Cue cards.
Cue cards. And that's, a lot of actors have that issue, but it did seem like he was either on something. I'm not saying he was, because that'll get him into trouble, and I never saw him take anything, but if you watched him, you would think either he needs to go get some medical attention, or there is something going on there. So it took forever to try and see him do the lines. Whenever he was doing action, brilliant. So good. And he had so much energy as well. So that can give you an idea of what was going on, because he would cut the scene, run out, do some push-ups, do a handstand push-up, go back, let's do this. No, right. And he knew exactly what he was doing whenever it was martial arts.
Yeah.
But when it came to scripting, he really struggled. So sometimes it's best not to meet your heroes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, if you've stayed with us or you're catching this on the repeat, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting the Ruby Tuesday.
We really
have 7,000 subscribers. Who would have thunk? My goal by the end of the year is to try and reach 10K. So hopefully that'll be the thing. That's where it starts becoming less of a hobby and more of a job. It is very much that now for me. I put a lot of time and effort into this channel, but I'm hoping that we'll reap some of the benefits from that when we reheat and reach 10K, because that feels like I'm a real boy. I'm a real YouTuber, and when people ask what do you do? And I'm a YouTuber. Oh yeah, and then you say you got 10,000 subscribers. It's something. It's better than I got 200 subscribers or 7,000. It's pretty cool, man.
It is cool,
and that's all because of you guys. Because you support us, you share, you watch, you comment. I love the community we now have. So thank you so much for supporting us. We're gonna keep going and see what it brings, what it becomes. Hopefully something larger. Thanks so much for watching this chat with us of all things virus and streaming content. Stay safe, come in San Diego, and we will have another live stream much sooner than we did this one. I plan to do more of these, so let me know if you've enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching, and toodles.
Bye.
Are you sure you want to end the stream? Yes, I am.
Okay.